we just got completed with Strider, who came in for a board and train, and he was here for technically 12 days. Maybe you can share, what was your decision in sending him into camp?
Well, we felt that the way it was going, that he needed to be properly trained because he wasn't happy and the family wasn't happy, and we were basically at our last crossroads, I guess, between keeping him and trying to find another home for him, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. So this worked out well for him.
Yeah.
It did. It worked out really well.
So what were some of the behaviors that you were having trouble with?
Aggression issues. Anytime anybody came to the house, even if it's somebody he's familiar with, like a good friend, those first few minutes would be very stressful for everybody involved. The visitor, for us, for him, the kids, almost to the point that we didn't even want people coming over just because of the anticipation of how crazy he gets. And then if it is somebody he's used to, then he would get settled down within a matter of a few minutes, but it wasn't always guaranteed. And then another thing is when he's outside, he's very territorial. We live on a corner, we have a lot of foot traffic, people walking dogs, people walking kids, people walking themselves, and he was crazy.
He was territorial even when he was inside the house. So he would, because the way our windows are set up, he could see people walking across the street from our house and other people's yards, hundred feet away, and he would still be barking. So it wasn't just people that were coming into a house. It was if anybody walked in the vicinity in a part of the neighborhood, he would go ballistic.
Yeah.
Very much stressful. Very stressful for everybody.
So now that we've completed his training and you've had an opportunity to work with him on his program and stuff like that, how do you feel that he did, first of all?
I think what we've seen outside, even the fact that we were able to sit at your table for 45 minutes and he maintained that position after not seeing us for 12 days is amazing. And then to see him outside follow the commands that we've never been able to get him to follow based on previous efforts. I mean, it's like a completely different dog.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know we have to continue the training at home and establish it at home on his home turf too. But.
Right. So within that being said, as we kind of discussed about how that transition is going to happen, how do you feel that, do you think you're going to have difficulty, or where do you think your strengths or weakness might be?
No, I don't think that. I mean, I think there might be difficulty with the kids getting them a little too wound up for the first couple of days, but we'll talk about that. But I mean, with come, sit, down, stay, and then all done. I mean, we only have to remember 5 things, so I don't really see how that can be brought
Pillow,
back.
kennel.
Everything.
Pillow, kennel.
Oh, pillow kennel, yeah.
Now you've opted to use a remote control, so we're using a remote training collar. How do you think that is going to work for you? Do you feel, first of all, how do you feel about that?
Well, I feel real comfortable with it because I come from a family of hunters, and they all have hunter dogs, and they've all used the collars for training, and so that's something that we've seen.
We've seen it.
And not just for hunting purposes. I mean, at this point, my family is older. They just continue to get hunter dogs, and they don't hunt, but they train them the same way, to live around their house as they would if they were going out duck hunting.
Okay.
So I also think Strider is we can tell already in a short amount of time that he's responsive to it too. So
Yeah. So you don't feel, do you recommend remote collars to anybody else? I mean, would you say?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So.
It's not hurting. It's not the zapper. It's just the. So
It gets his attention and it makes sure his attention's focused on the command, so it's a reinforcement.
Right. So good. I want to thank you for this opportunity.
You.
I think he did fantastic. I'm just really, personally, I thought he was a very he really took to the commands very nicely. The first couple days he was a little stressed, but there's a lot of stuff going on here, so there was a lot of in and outs and whatnot, so he handled it well. But once he started training, I mean, he was Johnny on the spot. He was like, yeah, I'm right there with you. So I was really pleased. I think he
Great.
did fantastic. So
That's great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Can't thank you enough because it's like we have a whole new dog just from what I've been able to see in a short amount of time. So
yeah, so
that's great.